WTBQ.
Ain't I got you on the back foot? And you know I got you really good.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Katie Krahulik, and you're listening to Leading Ladies, a women's talk show that features relatable, intelligent, compassionate, powerful, productive women of the 21st century. And my first guest today she's here with us in the studio, and she's done a lot of work within the community, and I'd like to introduce Miss Lisa Ann Weisbrod. Welcome, Lisa. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. We also have Lisa's daughter, Bridget, sitting here with us, and she's gonna, monitor a little bit. She's gonna supervise from the corner of the room over there. She's going into third grade, so she's very excited. So we're just going to start with talking a little bit about what you do currently, if that's all right.
Great, sure. Right now, I'm the executive director of the Warwick Historical Society. Joined there, it's almost been a year in September.
Nice, very nice.
It's a great place right here in Warwick. We have 12 properties that we protect, but we actually have a lot of programming between educational programs and conversations that we have, lectures. It's really a great place. It's a really vibrant historical society.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a very historic area, of course. So,
absolutely.
So you guys probably have a lot of work to do.
We do. It's so funny because I came there thinking, wow, historical society, is this going to keep me busy enough?
Right.
And oh my gosh, I could work 24/7 and still not get everything done. It's absolutely amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's super great to hear.
It's awesome. I love it there. I do. I love the work that we do there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, you've done a lot of different things.
Yes.
But public affairs is the main,
Exactly. Kind of the stress of what I've done.
Right.
And I have no idea how I got into it. It's so funny
Really?
because I was actually a philosophy and English major.
Okay.
Always thought I had thought I was going to be a philosophy professor.
Wow.
And I actually looked into law school, was accepted to Fordham Law, the whole nine
wow,
yards,
nice.
and didn't do it. But somehow, I always like to say that I didn't look for it. It kind of pursued me, public relations.
Right. That's kind of the best way for it to
Exactly.
happen, when it just falls in your lap and you realize you love it.
Exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
One thing I always like to do is kind of put myself outside of my comfort zone.
Yes.
I think it's important to do things maybe that don't make, you're not comfortable doing them.
Right.
Because in reality, I'm more comfortable sitting at home and reading a book than putting myself in
As
front
most
of people.
people might be.
Right. So by putting myself out in front of people, it kind of puts me out of my comfort zone.
Of course.
But that's good because it keeps me learning.
Absolutely.
Which I think is important.
And it's it's a constant challenge if you're always pushing yourself to do that.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm a strong advocate for that. I mean, doing this show.
Exactly. I know, right?
And I always
Good
say
for
that
you.
to my peers, because it's a great way to better yourself. And of course,
Exactly.
great opportunities, they come up when
That's
doing
it.
so, which is exactly what happened to you.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Congrats.
Yeah.
So this wasn't something that you'd always, were interested in it.
No, it's funny because, like I said, English and philosophy, I just thought I'd always be with books or
Right.
something maybe. And I looked into law, which I thought was another interest of mine. Probably environmental law was an interest of mine.
Right.
And a lot of my nonprofit work has been environmental based.
Okay.
But, or, conservation.
Right.
But really, I think where my talents were in the public affairs side of things.
Right.
Which is, and a lot of my work has been in nonprofits. I did work for Cablevision actually
Right.
for a while, but
Very
I like
cool.
to say where I was as nonprofit as Cablevision could be. I always like to say that I gave away Cablevision's money because I was in the government affairs area there, and
Okay.
we worked with schools and libraries.
Okay.
And we gave free cable and
Right,
internet to
right,
everybody,
right.
and we did programs where we were able to actually donate a lot of money to charities and to schools, which was awesome.
That
it
is,
was a great experience.
I mean, that sounds like a really rewarding part of
It is.
Cablevision.
It
to
really,
be a part
yeah.
of.
Oh my gosh, it was great just to go into schools. And I mean, there was one program that we did, Take a Vet to School.
Oh, wow.
And it was awesome.
Right. Oh my
We would
gosh.
work with the History Channel. And, excuse me, I remember one that we did it in Monroe Woodbury where we were able to Skype to Iraq.
Wow.
And we surprised one of the students with her father.
Oh my gosh.
There was not a dry eye in the house.
That's
It was amazing.
incredible.
And we had the Purple Heart Hall of Honor come in and talk, and it was awesome. And then we were able to hand over a $10,000 check, which
Right.
was even the best
Icing
part.
on the cake.
You know, I love that.
Right, of course. Wow.
So yeah, that was great. But so, you know, even though it was for profit, it was a very charitable aspect of
Absolutely.
Cablevision.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is really, really good to hear.
It's great.
Right,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yep.
You know, and of course you've worked like with a bunch of other non-for-profits, and you said that conservation was something that you were more particularly interested in.
Absolutely.
I want to talk a little bit about, you know, the Historical Society, what you're doing there with them. I know you did some other sort of conservation, but conserving history, I mean, that's a different kind of conservation.
It so is. It's so funny. Yeah, I had come from the Land Trust and I worked with the Garden Conservancy, and you know that's conserving land. But you know what we're conserving is our memories, and,
Right.
And you know our personal memories and history. But what I also like to say is, you know, history's now.
This is
We're
very
making
true.
history here in
Absolutely.
Warwick every single day. So while we are protecting the history of the past, we're also continuing to make history at the
Right.
Historical Society, which I think, and everywhere here, in, you know, everywhere around the world, but in
Right.
Warwick specifically. And I think that's what we like to stress there is, you know, we're not just about old buildings and
Of course.
archives and things like that, which is important, but
Right.
we're about right now too, and,
Right,
and what
absolutely.
we're doing here in the community currently.
That makes a lot of sense, and I think it's something
Exactly.
people don't really associate with the Historical Society.
No, they don't.
Right.
You know, I always like to say we're not your grandmother's historical
Right.
society. We are here. We're doing, you know, we do yoga in Lewis Park, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's so much fun.
Right.
And you know, everything we're doing a lot of really wonderful new things. We're actually starting. I'm really excited about it. I just
great.
posted a video. They're called the Red Umbrella Tours.
Okay.
So our curator, Michael Bertolini, is going to guide them every third Sunday. And it's kind of like if you want the dirt
Yes.
about Warwick,
Do tell.
then that's what you want to do. You want to go on these tours because
Okay.
Michael's been here for quite some time. And if you want to know somebody who knows all the dirt about
Right.
Warwick, he does. And he's
Very
going to reveal a few great things on these
Wow.
tours. So I'm excited to go on them. You know,
Definitely sounds
they're going
very
to be so much
interesting.
fun.
Right.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's starting up soon.
The first one is maybe next week. It's the third Sunday. I don't
Okay.
remember when that is.
Right,
but
right,
the
right.
third Sunday of
Soon,
every
though.
month. Exactly.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So, you know, there's a lot going on there. You've
Yeah.
only been doing it for about a year, but
Yes.
has it been, you know, appealing to you?
It has been tremendously rewarding.
Great.
I have a wonderful board of directors who are very encouraging, and we have unbelievable volunteers. I mean, the
great.
volunteers that we have are great, and it's very empowering actually
Absolutely.
because we're making a lot of changes
Right.
and making ourselves more relevant, which is really great and
Definitely.
just so much fun. Every day
course.
every day is a new challenge,
Right.
and you know, it's great.
And it's all
I love
different
it.
stuff that you're doing.
Exactly.
It's not the same thing, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
very cool.
There's nothing boring about this position.
As, you know, in contrast to what people might think.
Exactly.
With the sound of it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool though.
Yeah.
And you know, you were talking about the volunteers. I do want to speak a little bit about volunteers in general. You've done a lot of work with nonprofits and charity type work
Yeah.
within your career, and I'm sure you've come in contact with quite a few volunteers.
Yep.
And you know, when it comes to volunteering as opposed to being paid to work, there's such a different level of passion sometimes, I feel.
Absolutely.
Is that something that you see to be true?
Oh, most definitely. When you're a volunteer, you're volunteering for an organization that you truly care about.
Right.
It's in your heart. And I see that in our volunteers here at the Historical Society. I mean, we have people who it's their full-time job. They are
Right.
there as much as I am, but not getting paid. And it's
Right.
absolutely incredible. I mean,
Right.
the passion that they have, passion for it as far as the number of hours that they put in, as far as monetary contribution,
Right.
it's really incredible. And I've seen that throughout my career with volunteers at different nonprofits and places where I've volunteered too, you know, whether it's Meals on Wheels or
Right.
it's just, I think volunteerism and being civic minded is so important.
Absolutely.
And giving back to people and to your community. It's so rewarding and personally, and just seeing the benefit really that's out there
Right,
on other people
definitely.
is just tremendous.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's really cool that you get to work alongside such people, you know,
Exactly.
in your own career.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, what's so great about it is, with so many horrible things going on, maybe in
Right.
the world, you see volunteers getting out there and giving of themselves, and it kind of it's refreshing
Oh,
and it
absolutely.
renews your faith in people.
Absolutely.
We were actually, my family and I, the other night on Tuesday, there was a bicycle race going by our house.
Okay.
And at about 8:15, I said, "All right, kids," they were out cheering, and I said, "I think everybody's gone by." And all of a sudden, there was this flurry of activity, and this one cyclist stopped, and a car stopped and said, "You come out to the road. I get teary thinking about this."
Okay.
There was a gentleman, they had biked, we were at the 100-mile
Okay.
marker, our house was, and he had no legs. He cycled the whole way with his arms.
Oh my goodness.
With a special bike. And this was the 100-mile mark. He had 10 miles to go. The next day he was getting up and he was going to bike 100 more miles.
Oh my gosh.
And this was for children with cancer. So it's like that kind of volunteerism, it's
Right.
touching.
Oh, that is touching.
It was absolutely amazing. We were all just out there just screaming and yelling,
Right.
weren't we, Bridget? It was great.
I even remember the biker's name,
What was his name?
JJ.
JJ, that's right. Yep, it
Nice.
was. Yeah, it made quite an
Wow.
impression on my kids,
That's
which is great.
That's crazy cool,
Yeah.
though. You know, that
Isn't
he's
it?
able to give up so much of himself when he,
Yeah.
when
Isn't
he,
it amazing?
you would think that maybe he wouldn't have been able to if he
Exactly.
wasn't so passionate or wow.
Yep,
Yeah,
but
really...
that's just the ultimate volunteer.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Very
so,
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, we're
Yep.
going to take a very quick break, and we'll be right back after that. You're listening to Lisa Ann Weisbrod. We have Bridget here with us as well. I'm Katie Krahulik, and this is WTBQ.
All right now.
Hi, this is Orange County Executive Steve Newhouse.
And this is Ed Harrison, General Manager of Stewart International Airport.
We want to remind everybody that this year's air show featuring the Thunderbirds will be coming.
On September 3rd and September 4th, that's Labor Day weekend at Stewart International.
We also have other acts coming like the F-18 Super Hornets as well as other static displays and performers.
Be sure to visit the website at newyorkairshow.com. That's nyairshow.com.
We hope to see you there.
People aren't shy about saying what they want.
I want that report on my desk by COB.
I want to go to Josie's party.
I want to take a moment to tell you about our home security system.
Babe, my folks want to visit us this weekend.
At Crystal Run Healthcare, we focus on what you want. You want easy access to providers and specialists. You want secure email access to your doctor when it's convenient for you, and test results at the click of a mouse. You want to manage your prescriptions without a lot of hassles. You want convenient, coordinated care under one roof, and to prevent illnesses before they happen. Crystal Run Healthcare offers extended hours, on-site labs, virtual appointments, and the highest quality coordinated care by your primary care physician and specialists.
Huh. I think I want to change doctors.
What do we want? At Crystal Run Healthcare, we want you healthy. For convenient, coordinated care, visit crystalrunhealthcare.com or call for an appointment today.
Where your heart beats for the fun of it. YMCA.
Need a safe, fun, and stimulating program for your school-age child before and after school hours. The YMCA of Middletown provides quality, affordable child care programs in 22 schools throughout Orange County. Professionally trained, caring adult role models are there when you can't be. Register now for fall programs, as most locations fill quickly. Contact the YMCA at 845-344-9622 or visit our website at middletownymca.org to learn about all of our sites. And as always, our Strong Kids campaign provides financial assistance to those who qualify.
Hi, Hi, this is Marina Case of the Red Shutters in Warwick, New York. Tune in every Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. for The Style Show, a show about decorating, fashion, and fun on WTBQ Radio worth listening to.
Hi, this is Sarah O'Connell.
And this is Jonah Treebwasser.
And we're the hosts of Radio Rotary, heard every Saturday morning at 11:30.
Each week we chat with your neighbors about great things happening in your community and around the world.
Radio Rotary.
Right here on WTBQ, radio worth listening to.
WTBQ. Ain't I got you on the back foot? And you know I got you really good.
Welcome back, everyone. This is your Leading Ladies host, Katie Krahulik, speaking right here on WTBQ, and I am here with a beloved local community member, Miss Lisa Ann Weisbrod, and her daughter Bridget is here with us as well. And we were just talking about her effort to help out her community and her experience with the Historical Society. And I do kind of want to talk about the things you were doing in the past a little bit.
Sure.
You did a lot of things. You know, you have quite a wide, vast array of things on your resume here.
Yes.
And they're all a little bit different, but still, you know, sort of communications, public affairs type work.
Right.
But I want, you know, I'm curious as to why such different, you know,
I
things.
think, well, for me, I have a lot of interests, number one.
Right.
I've moved a lot as well. I've moved all around the country, really.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah, it's been great. Kind of a little bit of a wanderlust, I would say. But
Definitely.
But, yeah, definitely. But it's really helped me learn about a lot of different things,
Right.
whether it's nonprofits, you know, conservation, with the Garden Conservancy, the Land Trust, Historical Society. I was, as I mentioned, with Cablevision, but I think it's just really helped me become a more well-rounded person.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, it's been interesting.
And what led you to Warwick after all that?
Actually, that's so funny. My parents were here.
Okay.
My parents had moved here, and I came to visit. I was living in Connecticut at the time, and I kept coming to visit, and I fell in love. I think I hear that so many times from so many people who end up here. They come, they visit, you know, they walk through downtown, they go apple picking, or they head out to Warwick Winery or something like that.
Right.
And then they end up moving here, and I'm the same story.
It's
you
what
know,
happens.
you just fell in love with it here,
You can't
and
help
here
it.
you are.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
My husband is pretty much from here. He moved here, I guess, in middle school.
Oh, okay.
But so he's been here for quite some time.
Okay.
But yeah, I can't believe it's so funny. Almost 20 years, 16 years later, I moved here in 2000.
Oh, okay.
So I've been here for a
Wow,
while.
right.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad I am too.
Yeah. I do also want to kind of talk about you because, you know, as I said before, you did a lot of work in communications. And
Yes.
as a communication major, I just have to ask on behalf of my fellow
Absolutely.
student member or peers, you know, what are the perks of your job? What reward does your career bring to you personally?
For me, it's so interesting. There's so many perks.
Of course.
I mean, because I feel like I'm giving back to the community, which is wonderful. It gets me out and talking to people.
Right.
I love it's kind of like being a big fish in a little small sea.
Right.
And that's great. You know,
Right.
you feel like you are making a change
Right, definitely.
because of what you do. You know, obvious perks is I work close to my house, which is great. I love
That's a
that.
plus.
You know, exactly.
Right.
But yeah, I think being able to make a difference and make a change is the biggest thing for me.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah,
Which is something that I think a lot of people in your field would agree with is definitely a perk of
Absolutely.
you know, of PR, public affair, marketing, things like that nature.
Right.
And you did again some work with, you know, some media outlets.
I have, yeah. I was with Cablevision and actually the Times Herald Record for a bit.
Right,
yeah.
which is super cool. I think it's very
Exactly.
interesting, personally.
Yeah. And I know you had mentioned about, you know, just different things about journalism and, you know, you had said maybe if it doesn't get a bad rep or
Right.
And you know what I think is actually great about this station is that it's privately owned.
Right.
I think one of the big problems that's out there is that there's a few companies that own all of the media outlets,
Right, like
whether
corporate.
it's whether it's radio or the television stations, and it really then these stations or whatever media outlet it is, it becomes really it's not giving us information, but it's
Right.
partisan propaganda.
Exactly.
A lot of the time, and that's why a lot of media gets the bad reputation it
Right, of
has because
course.
it's not really giving us a well-rounded view of what's going on,
Right,
but very one-sided.
The integrity and the purpose of journalism kind of gets distorted.
Exactly.
When that starts happening.
Precisely.
So is that something that you found in your line of work with Cablevision Times Herald, or
not really, because not there, because they're more of the telecommunications. They don't have the stations.
Right.
But you see it all over, unfortunately.
Right, of course.
But yeah, I think trying to overcome that, it's difficult because it is going against the big corporate
right, of course,
media.
unfortunately.
So, yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, was there any sort of moral solace that you might have gained, working with those fields? There had to be some sort of reward with what you were doing with them.
Well, for me, I was always on the public affairs or the marketing end of it,
different side
not
of the
on the
spectrum.
Editorial.
Right.
And I think one thing that is good and needs to stay is I call it like the kind of like church and state, that editorial and advertising or marketing just have to remain completely separate. So I think that's important, and I think
Definitely.
most, there are some places that definitely do that, and I think that's a good thing.
That's great to hear.
Continue.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, and again, there's so many different things to talk about because you worked in so many different atmospheres, but the nonprofits, I know we did talk about, volunteerism and the dedication that it takes, but could you talk about the reward that working with these organizations has brought to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I just, as I said, it's just making a difference in the community you're in. And what's so great is you don't have to be, with the Historical Society, I'll say. A lot of people think you need to be 4 generations in Warwick to, be part of the Historical Society, and you don't. You could be brand new here and make a difference. And that's what's great. You can be 4 generations and make that difference, but you could have moved here last week and start making a difference here. And you could be my age, you could be, Bridget's age and make a difference in the community. And I think that's what you get out of working in the nonprofit field is really making that difference or trying to.
And, I think Warwick is one of those places where you just, you go to and you just feel it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's one of those places you just look around and you feel it, and it's a very welcoming place. So.
It is, yeah. I like to say there's such a strong sense of place here.
Absolutely.
And I think that's so great about Warwick.
Right.
And, I've lived in a lot of wonderful communities, but Warwick just has this very strong sense of place, which is great. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
And probably one of the things that drew you here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yep.
And, since this is a women's show and we only have a few minutes left here, I do have to ask about, being a woman in your line of work. Have you ever faced, any sort of adversity or discrimination or, just trouble being taken seriously?
Absolutely. Actually, yeah. Unfortunately,
really?
I have. Yeah. More early on in my career.
Of course, right.
I think it was very hard being a young woman and being taken seriously.
Definitely.
That's tough, but you just have to keep moving forward.
Right.
And I think that's what it is. Also interesting is, as far as discrimination, what I see a lot of is, I'll call it ageism. I don't know if that's the right word, but especially as a younger woman, you saw that being a young woman was even harder.
Right.
I think as I aged, it became a little bit easier to be taken seriously.
Right.
But the one thing I always like to say as a woman in business and working is that I feel women bring more compassion to their field and to their work, which I think is so important.
Absolutely.
And it's so funny with Bridget. What I like to think is, as a full-time working mom, I have Bridget, and then I have a William, who's my
Kudos.
son. What I like to show them is what I'm bringing to society.
Right.
What my contribution to society as a working person, and I hope that they see that. I mean, both my kids are unbelievable volunteers and I think are very compassionate. So hopefully that's something that they have gotten from watching me work.
I'm sure they'll follow in your path. It's great to hear that you guys are like that.
Yeah.
And on that note, you were talking about being a young woman and how it can get tricky, and just going on day by day. That's something I've never heard someone say before. But is it kind of? I guess it can get kind of, it can get a little bit tiring and exhausting, and and that might knock you down a peg when every single day you're trying to be on the same level as someone else, and they might not be seeing you that way. So
but I think it's just a balance.
Right.
You just always have to create a balance, whether it's a balance at work, a balance between work and family,
Right.
work and play, and I think that's volunteerism and your profession. You just have to try to balance. Sometimes, unfortunately, I'm not great at that. I might work a little bit too much,
Right.
but you just have to step back and try to rebalance yourself and think, okay, what's important,
Right.
And I think that's crucial to do that, to
Definitely.
really step back and analyze what you're doing.
Definitely. And that's great advice,
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of young people will take that and run with it. But that's all we have time for right now with you guys, unfortunately. But thank you so much for coming in
Thank you.
today.
This
and
was
thank you,
great.
Bridget, for coming in today as well. And, I'm sure the community very much so appreciates the work you do. And I wish you all the best moving forward. So
Thank you. You too.
No problem. Stay tuned, listeners, because up next is a very special guest to me personally. And she has a lot to share with you all about women in the work world. This has been Katie Krahulik, and you've been listening to Leading Ladies here on WTBQ Radio.
They say there is a wondrous village not far from here, as the dragon flies, where spectacle abounds, and 16th century nobles, knights, artisans, and winsome wenches await you at a magical lakeside setting, where celebrations are like nowhere else in all the land. Join us at the New York Renaissance Fair. Feast on a titanic turkey leg. Enjoy music, comedy, acrobats, games, and mystics. Handcrafted treasures in the artisans' marketplace. Come as you are, or as you would like to be. Pirate, steampunker, royal. Costumes are optional, but fun.
It's the New York Renaissance Fair, where fantasy rules. Open Saturdays, Sundays, and Labor Day Monday from August 6th through October 2nd. Located on Route 17A in Tuxedo Park, New York. Discount tickets at Walgreens. For maps, stage schedules, discounts, and more, go to renfair.com. Save 20% on adult tickets this weekend. Print a coupon at renfair.com.
Every Good Deed Title Agency is Orange County's reliable title insurance and settlement services company in the residential and commercial real estate industry. This is Bob Krahulik, the lawyer guy here on WTBQ Radio and owner of Every Good Deed Title Agency. I've been in the abstract and title insurance business for over 20 years. Contact me for a free quote on title insurance and settlement services for your next real estate or refinance transaction. Contact Every Good Deed Title Agency at 986-3713, everygooddeed.us.
The Warwick Valley Merchants Guild is sponsoring the 19th Annual Ladies' Night Out on Thursday, August 25th from 3 to 9 p.m. in the Village of Warwick. Rain or shine. Ladies, there's lots of late night shopping, music to sing and dance to, wine tasting and food samplings. And to work off all that yummy food, there's Zumba and pole and belly dancing. The piece de resistance, the crowning of the queen for a day. To submit your queen for the winning basket of goodies, go to Peck's Wine and Spirits by August 6th. Bring your mom, sister, grandmother, bestest friends, daughters, and all the women and men in your life to Ladies' Night Out to have the time of your life right on Railroad Green in Warwick on Thursday, August 25th from 3 to 9 p.m. All proceeds will benefit Safe Homes of Orange County, and for more information, call Corinne Irato, that's IURATO, at 845-986-WINE, or email corinneirato@hotmail.com.
Hi, this is Dr. David Leach, the superintendent of the Warwick Valley Central School District and host of Your Schools. Listen every Monday at 12 noon to learn what's happening in your schools right here on WTBQ, radio worth listening to.
This is Sister Anna. Listen to The Garden of the Child, a story discussion time with students. Story develops listening skills and imagination. Saturdays at 11:10 a.m. on WTBQ.
WTBQ. Ain't I got you on the back foot? And you know I got you really good.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Katie Krahulik, hosting Leading Ladies here on WTBQ, and my lovely mother is here at the station with me. We are going to be talking about the work she's doing. Thank you so much, Mom, for coming on today.
Well, thank you for finally having me, Katie.
Well, thank you.
I'm very happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you. We are just going to get started with the basics here, Mom.
Sure.
And I'm going to ask you if you could tell our listeners a little bit about what it is you do for a living.
Okay, well, my name is Christine Krahulik, and yes, I am Katie's mom, but I am also a family court judge here in Orange County. And I have been sitting on the bench as a family court judge for the past 2 years. I was elected at the end of 2014 and took office January 1st, 2015.
Nice.
My current career.
So a little bit recent, career.
Yes, except that I have been working in the family court here in Orange County for the past 16 years.
Right.
So I started in Orange County Family Court as the law clerk to a family court judge. And I served in that role for 7 years. And then I was appointed by the administrative judge to serve as a support magistrate, also in family court. And I served in that role for 7 years. I worked 1 week in Orange and 1 week in Westchester.
Right.
And I commuted every other week to Westchester. And that is a judicial position in the family court, except it's very limited type of work. So I just heard child support and paternity type matters. And now as a family court judge, I hear a whole array of different types of matters. Still a limited type of court versus some other courts that you might have heard
more
about.
broad than what you had been doing.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But you've been in the family court then for a large amount of time. You've just been doing this job.
16 years serving in family court. Prior to working inside family court, I was in private practice. And when I first got out of law school, which was a long, long time ago, I was in private practice in a small firm in Saratoga Springs, and my primary focus was family law.
Very nice.
So I practiced in front of the bench in family court in Saratoga County and other counties surrounding that, and then now I've been behind the bench, so to
two different
speak.
perspectives of the courtroom.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And of course, naturally, my next question would be, is this something that you had always visioned for yourself, something you always wanted to do?
Well, I suspected that you were going to ask me that question, and I was thinking about that. And no, my passion to become a family court judge sort of evolved over time. When I was a kid, and I've shared this with you many, many times, at 10, I knew I wanted to go to law school. I don't really know why, except that I think that I liked the prospect of taking a group of information and putting it together and coming up with a conclusion. And that's sort of what you do as a judge.
Right.
It's putting a puzzle together. It's all the pieces and then putting it together and figuring out a puzzle, basically.
Right.
And as my career evolved over time, I started to sort of drift in that way of, I really like the part of taking all the pieces and making a decision about what is the best way for all those pieces
You like
to be
making
together.
decisions for yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when I first went to law school, I really wanted to go into more of a business background, trusts and estates, wills.
Okay.
I really loved the accounting part of it, the math part of it. And it just didn't work out that the first job I got was not in that field. It was in a general practice firm that did a large practice of matrimonial and family law. And it just was something that I loved doing.
Right.
That's not to say that that area of the law is not very emotional and stressful and difficult and, really pulls on your heartstrings in many, many instances. But I just liked the way that type of process worked out.
Right.
And it just drew me in. So I knew when I left my job in Saratoga that I really wanted to stick with the family law, and I really was interested in the clerking for the family court judge.
Right.
So when I came down here to Orange County, I sort of had that in the back of my mind that that's what I'd really like to do.
Right.
And I eventually got there, but it didn't happen overnight. It was
course.
a process. It was a
Right.
journey.
Right, definitely.
So
back when you were in Saratoga, I'm curious, when you first started that, that family firm,
yes.
Were you intimidated at all? Because of course,
Oh,
contracts
absolutely. Listen, I was fresh out of law school, and for anyone out there that's thinking about going to law school, when you go to law school, you don't necessarily learn how to be a lawyer.
Right.
You learn how to analyze law and apply it to facts, but the actual practice of law is a whole different element, and
Right.
you really need to get out and practice. I guess maybe that's why they call it that.
There you go.
And I worked for a sole practitioner in Saratoga, and I was thrown right in. I went to court. I was a baby lawyer just out of law school. I went straight into court and had to argue motions in front of judges and tried cases. And, you learn a lot.
Right.
You learn a lot.
I think maybe that's the best way to do it in a lot of circumstances. Just get right in there and start doing it.
Experience.
Right.
That's all you can,
absolutely,
get from it. But,
definitely.
I forgot what your original question was. I got a little off track there.
That's okay. I had asked you if you were intimidated to be doing family law.
Yes, I was very intimidated. I remember the first time I went to court, I was so nervous. I thought I was going to throw up.
Right.
My stomach hurt. I was shaking.
Right.
My heart was racing. And at that time, there were no such thing as women judges.
Okay.
Every single judge that I appeared in front of upstate was a man.
Right.
And very intimidating. They were much older, and they were gruff, and they were scary, and it was the good old boys back then. If I didn't play poker with them on Friday nights in the back room, then I didn't have a chance of winning my case.
Right.
But fortunately, things have evolved, and women in the law have come a long way.
Definitely.
And in fact, here in Orange County, we have a lot of women judges, so that's
Right.
a big shift from when I first started
for sure.
practicing. And but yeah, it was very intimidating. It was very difficult. I remember my boss was a woman, and she was really tough. She taught me a lot, but we had to appeal a lot of cases.
Right.
It was very difficult to even win your case because that was the good old boys. But it was a great experience. I learned a lot.
An important
I worked
experience.
so hard. I can't tell you. I remember, I was expected as an associate to bill 40 hours a week. And in order to bill 40 hours a week and legitimately pass that off to the client, I had to put in about 70 hours a week. So I was working, 24/7.
Right.
And but that's what you have to do when you're starting out in
Of course,
your career.
unfortunately.
To
get where you want to be.
You don't get out of law school or grad school or college and become the boss or the CEO.
No one does,
You work your
right.
way up. You put the hard work in. It's blood, sweat, and tears. That's
right.
what it is.
Absolutely. We actually have a caller calling in right now, so we're going to tune them in. Hello, caller. How are you, and
Yes.
where are you from today?
Hi,
Can you give us your name?
This is actually Wayne Patterson.
Oh, hi, Wayne. How are you?
I am wonderful, Katie. I listen to your show every Saturday.
Oh, good. It's good to hear.
And you are awesome.
Thank you, Wayne.
And, I saw your mom yesterday.
Did you?
I'm going to embarrass her for a moment.
Do it. Love it.
Yeah, because she was a little, oh my God, I'm going to be on my daughter's show tomorrow. What am I going to talk about? Hope I'm doing okay.
A little nervous.
And Katie, she's a judge, for God's sake.
I
right?
know. What is she so nervous about?
She is like high-powered, and I was thinking about this. I was in Brooklyn last night with some friends and some investors that are making a lot of money out there, and I was just dealing with people that have had success in their lives. And Katie, you got high-powered parents. Right?
I am very aware, yes.
I know you are. And the big deal is, oh my God, can I live up, right? Can I, you have Leo Cadies, who has Leo R, the son. Oh my God, can I live up? And all these families that have had successful parents, you say, oh my God, can I live up?
Right.
And let me tell you something, Katie, you are rocking it.
Oh, thank you, Wayne. I appreciate that.
And I listened to your program, and Lisa, who you had on earlier, I love her to death.
She's great, right?
She has had tremendous success. I've dealt with her for a number of the organizations she's been involved with. And you look around this area, and all the women that are kicking butt professionally as entrepreneurs.
Right.
I know you got to go back to college soon, but let me tell you something. If you weren't in college, you could stay on this program 52 weeks of the year.
For sure.
We have women left and right that are kicking it.
I'm glad you're noticing it as much as I am. I totally agree with you. I'll never run out.
I'm involved with a lot of things in the community. I'm involved with the chamber, and I see them. I'm sitting next to them every single day.
Right, some credible people.
And guess what? You are going to be one of them.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate
that. And that's the reality. And I hope I didn't embarrass you, Christine.
No, thank you, though. I agree wholeheartedly with your assessment of Katie. I'm very, very proud of her.
You know,
so
and
thank you.
And you should be. And it comes naturally to her. And keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Much success in college when you go back. And I'm a strong advocate and fan of yours.
Thank you.
That. Okay. You guys have a great weekend.
All right,
Thank you so much. Thanks for calling in, Wayne.
It was great seeing you yesterday, Christine.
You too, Wayne.
And, you know, if Dad is listening, much power to him, and much success to you, to Katie, in your future endeavors.
Thank you so much again.
Thanks,
very
Wayne.
much so appreciate
You're
it.
very welcome.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
We have a little bit of a fan there.
Okay.
Well, anyway, moving on. That was really nice of him.
Yes.
Thank you, Wayne.
And he's right. You should be very proud of yourself, Katie, because this is not an easy thing to do. And I've heard a lot of compliments from people in the community for this show. And you have had some amazing women on the show.
Well, I couldn't do it without them.
And I'm grateful that they've all been able to be available and share their wisdom and experience with the community and with you.
Absolutely. I owe them 90% of the credit here. But thank you, Mom. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we will be right back after that. I'm here with my good mother, Christine Krahulik, and I'm Katie Krahulik. This is Leading Ladies on WTBQ Radio.
Is there enough Tiger in the tank to get Kevin Harvick home?
The race to the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup is on the Motor Racing Network.
Harvick is imploring his Chevrolet to get to the finish.
Only 5 races remain until the chase field is set.
Harvick slows in turn 7. Logano goes blasting by.
Here are the Chiefs at 3:55 at the Glen. Sunday afternoon, 1:30 on the Motor Racing Network.
Brought to you every week by Vogel & Moore Insurance, Dawson Motors.
The Warwick Valley Merchants Guild is sponsoring the 19th annual Ladies Night Out on Thursday, August 25th from 3 to 9 p.m. in the village of Warwick. Rain or shine. Ladies, there's lots of late night shopping, music to sing and dance to, wine tasting and food samplings. And to work off all that yummy food, there's Zumba and pole and belly dancing. The piece de resistance, the crowning of the queen for a day. To submit your queen for the winning basket of goodies, go to Peck's Wine and Spirits by August 6th. Bring your mom, sister, grandmother, bestest friends, daughters, and all the women and men in your life to Ladies Night Out to have the time of your life right on Railroad Green in Warwick on Thursday, August 25th from 3 to 9 p.m. All proceeds will benefit Safe Homes of Orange County, and for more information, call Corinne Irato, that's IURATO, at 845-986-WINE, or email corinneirato@hotmail.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Calvin Hargis, and as you may know, I have 2 specialties. As a board-certified neurofeedback specialist, I use neurofeedback therapy to normalize brain function associated with anxiety, depression, ADHD, and many other conditions. As a board-certified chiropractic orthopedist, I treat musculoskeletal pain. Did you know that most people with chronic pain never get better? Scoliosis treatment in this country could be enormously improved if doctors understood that most scoliotic curves are due to a short leg or an unlevel pelvis, and that most scoliosis begin as simple curves to balance the spine on an unlevel base. Radiologists do not comment on leg length differences, or that most orthopedic doctors do not attempt to correct these imbalances with corrective lifts. If you have chronic pain, a child diagnosed with scoliosis, or want to know more about neurofeedback therapy, I invite you to give us a call at 845-986-5500.
Hi, this is Professor Richard Hull, host of the Warwick Historical Society's weekly show, History Alive. Tune in every Monday at 11:05 to learn how history is your past, present, and future. WTBQ, radio worth listening to.
Hi, this is Orange County Executive Steve Newhouse. Join me and my guests every Monday on the Roundtable at 9 a.m. AM 1110, 93.5 FM, WTBQ.
WTBQ. Ain't I got you on the back foot? And you know I got you really good.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome. This is Katie Krahulik. You're listening to Leading Ladies, and I am here with my mother, Miss Christine Krahulik. She's my second guest today, and we had just been talking about the roots of her work and what it was like starting off, you know, in the world of law, and how it can be very intimidating, but it's important to get that experience in. We've all got to be bottom of the totem pole at some point, and it's all about working our way up here. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about, we only have about 10 minutes left, so something that's really important to me and my mom as well, something we've always been talking about while I've been growing up, is the concept of self-sufficiency and support, and being able to, you know, support myself and make sure that I'm in a good place financially and you know, physically, emotionally, so that I can take care of myself. I want to ask you now, Mom, if you can relay everything you've been preaching to me for 18 years, 19 years to our audience here about that.
Okay, well, I'm going to back up a little. I remember when I first had children, it was very difficult because I did not want to miss out on all the things that happen when they're little, but I also didn't want to have a big gap on my resume. So what I did was I sort of took a different shift in my career, and I took a job at H&R Block doing accounting, business, bookkeeping type work. And H&R Block is a tax company, so I worked a lot of hours during the season, which began in about December until the end of April or May. And then I had all the rest of the year off so that I could be with the kids. And the job that I had was such that I could actually bring you and your brother to work with me when you were first infants.
Right.
And then I put you in daycare. And for any young moms out there, or moms in professions or careers or anything, that is always a very difficult transition. I'm sure people have heard of mother guilt. There's always mother guilt. I need to be home. I should be home. And I would say to myself, no, you're setting a great example for your daughter and your son, that you need to work. You need to be able to support yourself. You need to be able to sustain yourself, because you can't rely on someone else to just always be there to take care of you. And so every day that I would have to drop you off at daycare and miss out on whatever was happening, every day when you'd get on the bus and go to school, and I'd go to work, and I wasn't in their homeroom with you, and I wasn't going all the class trips, and I wasn't the chaperone mom, I would keep telling myself, nope, you're setting a good example. You're being a role model. And that's what I had to tell myself, and I hoped that was true. And I think it is true.
Of course it's true.
I think it is true. But you can do it all. You can have a career and a family. You just have to make responsible and intelligent decisions along the way. And I feel like where I finally ended up today as a family court judge, which was my dream, it was a long, arduous road, and it did not come without many, many bumps and heartaches and difficult times and, good times and bad times all rolled into one, and raising children and struggling with making sure that all your school stuff was addressed and my career didn't falter. Those are big decisions and big things that women have to really face. But I was very, very fortunate because, first of all, your dad had a flexible job. He was self-employed. So where I couldn't do, he could pick up the ball. So it's good to have that teamwork approach in any, but not everybody's fortunate to have, a spouse or a partner that can do all those things.
Right.
There's a lot of single moms out there and single dads who have to juggle and balance.
Right.
And the advice I would say to people is, you know what? Don't be afraid to ask for help from your friends, from your neighbors, from your coworkers, because people will help.
Right.
And just make those smart choices. Maybe you take a little step back in your career, you slow it down, and you do something different, just so you're still in the workforce. You're still, able to earn some income, And in those early years, believe me, it probably cost me more to pay for childcare than the income I was earning. But I kept telling myself, too, that I needed to do this because it's sort of a building block to my future.
Right.
So, don't give up on a career, and don't give up on your dreams, and don't give up on your goals, and say, I can only either be a mom or I can be a lawyer. Because no. And you know what? There's a lot of women out there that are doing it all and doing both.
And the proof is my show. I speak to them every week who juggle
Yes.
it and they make it work.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's definitely true.
It's important, and it can be done.
Right.
And sometimes you might take the wrong turn and have to backtrack and fix whatever. If you do have a gap in your resume, you have to explain it, and you hope that employers don't look at that and hold it against you because you had a little time off to raise your children.
Right.
But it can be done, and it's not easy. It's never easy for anyone, but people shouldn't feel that they can't have it all.
Absolutely. That's great advice.
Yeah.
And on a similar note, when it comes to advice, just in general, I do want to talk or have you give a little bit of advice to young women in particular when it comes to confidence and empowerment and, just moving up in the ranks of the world. I know, Lisa Ann on the last half hour was saying that being a young woman in particular can be tricky when it comes to being taken seriously, et cetera. So what would you say to young women?
Absolutely. But I do feel that young women today have so much more courage and strength than the young women of my generation.
Oh, okay.
I look at you and I look at your peers and, Thomas and his peers, and I just see a whole different level of self-confidence. I think that just do it, to paraphrase Nike, just do
There you
it.
go.
You don't stand back and wait for it to come to you. Go
Right.
after it and take risks. Take
Right.
risks. No risk, no reward. I'm a firm believer of that. And I've certainly taken a lot of risks during my career
Right.
and had a lot of setbacks.
Of course.
And, I decided this is what I want to do. I'm going to do it. And don't let anyone tell you no. I mean, take advice from people, listen to what people have to say, and respect that maybe you've made a bad choice or maybe you should go in a different direction. But definitely don't stop yourself.
Right.
Whatever it is that is what's in your sight, go for it.
Right.
Because if you don't try, you'll never achieve it.
Exactly. You'll never know.
Right. And you'll be disappointed in yourself if you don't at least try.
Right.
And, self-confidence, that comes with time and experience. Of course, anybody that's starting anything new, you don't know what you're doing. I remember the first day I was law clerking for a firm in Troy, my second year of law school. And lawyers out there will understand this, but you might not understand it, Katie. They said to me, I need you to draft a motion. I had no idea what they were talking about. So I started going in all the law books. I was looking in all the statutes and all the books, just trying to figure out what the heck they were talking
Right.
about. And I didn't want to be stupid and say, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Although I would
Can't
say
say
that
that.
today. I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about. But, I probably spent 2 days just trying to figure out what they meant by that.
Right.
So, and, now that's just common lingo
Right,
in my
of course.
career. And I know what it means and everybody knows what it means. But so it's just an example of, when you
Right.
first start out, you don't know anything.
Right. And
You're
you have
there
to just
learn.
accept that you don't know anything.
Right.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
And this advice isn't coming out of nowhere. You have a lot of experience, with working on these different aspects of your life as you ran for office, and a woman running for office, there's always going to be.
It's not an easy venture.
Right,
It's not an easy venture.
Some difficulties there. So on the last minute here, can you kind of share a little bit about that experience and how that's
Well, politics is
affected you?
not, it's a difficult thing, as everyone can probably witness from TV and what's going on with the national election. But you know what? Just follow your dreams. And again, like I said, don't let anyone tell you no. I
Right.
worked very hard and I got a lot of pushback and there were a lot of people telling me no. And I decided I was going to do it anyway.
Definitely.
And I did it. So it can be done. And, then you just follow your dreams. That's
Absolutely.
all I tell.
Sometimes being told no can be the best motivation. So
Absolutely.
just take it and run with it.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Mom, for
You
coming
are
on
so
today. We are getting
welcome.
close to the end of the hour here, so
No.
it is time to start wrapping it up. But I appreciate you coming on, and thank you for everything you've taught me and you've expressed to our listeners. We're all very appreciative of your work and your role as an inspiration to the community. I'm Katie Krahulik, and this is Leading Ladies on WTBQ Radio.